Next call on Dallas Ellis. And after Dallas will be Dr. Brian Toner. Mr. Ellis.
Thank you, sir. Before I begin, I'd like to know maybe if any of you maybe have a household pet, or maybe some of the other board members, maybe a household pet at home, or maybe somebody here. See, I brought these oranges down here with me. I was going to eat them, but after reading all the material I've read this last weekend, I've learned from some of the writings that, and I'm just convinced, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt, this orange right here is the first cousin of somebody's pet cat. And this orange here, I'm convinced, just because I've got a conviction, all I've learned within now, I know this orange here is no doubt the parent of somebody's pet dog. And I wondered, would you agree with me, Commissioner, these are related to human beings? You know what? I've read, and I'm happy to report, that evolution supports my belief that these oranges are in fact related to human beings.
Amen.
In 1859, in fact, Charles Darwin wrote in his book called Origin of Species, he wrote on page 176 something that proves that I'm telling you the truth. He said, it's a truly wonderful fact that all animals and all plants throughout all time and space are related to each other. So you see, I have irrefutable evidence that these oranges are in fact related to somebody's pets. And if you don't believe that, well, deep down inside, you really don't believe in evolution. You know, funny thing happened to me yesterday on the way down here. I stopped off in a place called Gainesville at a truck stop, and I was engaged in a conversation with a particular truck driver. And after about 5 minutes, he said to me, you know what, I want to tell you something that happened to me. The strangest thing happened to me a few years ago, and I just got to share it with you. He said, out on Interstate 60 out west, never heard of that interstate. He said, but on exit 563, there are two highways that cross, Highway 30, Highway 111, underneath the high rise of this particular interstate. And he said, as I was approaching, he said, I might point out, before I got there, I had learned later that somebody had pulled up the stop signs at this intersection. No traffic light was there. He said, and as I approached, I noticed these trucks, 4 big trucks, 2 of them hauling turkeys, 2 of them waste management trucks, were all headed to the intersection, equal distances apart, about to arrive at the same time, no stop signs. And I was wondering, well, these trucks aren't slowing down. Is anybody going to stop? And about the time I got to the top of the high rise, he said, there was a big collision. There was a big bang. And then all of a sudden, everybody was killed. Everything was killed. He said, but also there was a chemical, a planetary, organic, and a macro evolution that all occurred at one time. He said, and about the time this mushroom cloud began to rise up in the air,
You want to wrap it up,
there
please?
was a gene pool mix-up between the turkeys and the gene pools of the maggots off the waste management trucks. And then there was a mutation that produced a new offspring. I said, well, I've got 2 questions, and I'll wrap this up.
Thank you very much. You're past
He
the 10
said,
minutes now.
well, I said, where are they and what are they called? He said, they're in Tallahassee, Florida, and they're members of the Department of Education.
Thanks, sir.
And I said, I don't believe that.
Sir, thank you very much.
I don't believe that, because I know these folks have done great jobs, and I know they can accomplish great jobs. Now, that's absurd. That's really absurd. Inside, if that made you angry, there's a reason for it. You need to ask yourself why. And I've got one more comment. Thanks for all you've done. You've achieved some wonderful things. Now, achieve one more thing. Keep the apple in the hand of the classroom teacher and not the orange.
Dr. Brian Toner, please.